Get ready for inspirational, motivational, purpose-driven conversation with Courtney Cottrell and Dr. Pat Vasili. This is Unapologetically Favored, a show where you will learn to be yourself, love yourself, and walk in your purpose without fear or worry. Courtney is a leader of many and a friend to all. She is a passionate speaker, author, and 21-year active duty Master Chief with the United States Navy, here to show you that obstacles are everywhere. But the moment you stop letting your setbacks define you, you start to see yourself in a brilliant new light. Find your confidence, own your power, and never apologize for who you are. Unapologetically Favored starts now.
Hey, this is Courtney Cottrell with the amazing one and only Dr. Pat. Oh, welcome to Unapologetically Favored. It's been a while. I'm so excited. We're ending a new year, getting ready to walk into our purpose, into a whole new year. And today's show is going to be just exactly about that, right? Unapologetically favored. What does it truly mean? How you can apply it to your life? How do you know if you're truly, favored? Because people don't really think about how blessed they are in their life, even when you're in your most darkest times. And I know you and I have stories we can share, and just, the minor setbacks that we've had in our lives, and just which set us up for these major comebacks. It's going to be an amazing, amazing show. And I want to welcome everybody to it and just say, hey, to my friend, Miss Pat, how are you?
Listen, I'm trying to fix myself here. This couldn't have been at a better time,
right?
Because I know that where we go and what we do, we're going to get setbacks.
Right.
And I was listening to my spiritual man the other day, and he was like, okay, setback is a setup. It's a setup for something greater.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
And so for me, that means a gazillion things, but you're going to help us out, because Unapologetically Favored sets the stage for never entertaining a definitive stuck in setback mode.
Oh, yeah. And like, I people that know me, that I communicate with, that I talk to, strangers even, when I'm in a conversation with somebody and they're telling me about a hard time or a dark place or something that they perceive to be a bad experience for them, I always tell them what you just said. A setback is just a setup for a major comeback. Yeah. It's that what you're going through does not define you unless you allow it to, unless you lay down and you play woe is me, unless you lay down and you're just throwing out signals to get attention. You got to rise up out of that. You can't use your temporary position in life or your temporary situation that you might think is a dark time as a crutch. You cannot do that, because you will never get ahead. You cannot get ahead when you're dwelling on the past or dwelling on things you cannot control or you can't change. And I'm just excited about this show, because not only are we going to talk about, how to overcome all that, because that in itself, if you can make it through those times, believe it or not, you were favored, you were chosen. Because I am a firm believer that nothing is ever going to be put on you more than what you can handle, more than what you can bear, more than what you can withstand. And people need to understand that. And Unapologetically Favored is the title of my book. And I get the question, how did you come up with that title? And it's been this summary of everything, my setbacks and my comebacks. And oh man, I'm so excited about this.
All right, let's get to it, because I want to talk with you about how this came to you and why this is such an important, phrase for people to take in. Because what you're inviting everybody to do is you're inviting people to say, I am unapologetically favored. You are inviting people right now, right today, right in this moment, to move forward, just being in that, no matter what comes up. But you see, you don't come up with something like that at all unless you have felt that you are not favored.
Right. And, but But you'll be surprised how many people don't realize how blessed and favored they truly, truly are. Yeah. I don't care if you're laying in a hospital bed. I don't care if you're down to your last dollar in your bank account. I don't care if all 4 tires on your car are flat. The fact that you still woke up this morning and you took a breath, that you opened your eyes, that you got a call from a parent, a sister, a brother, a grandparent. Somebody out there does not have what you have at this moment. You're blessed. You're favored. You might be in that area, but you're in an area to learn a lesson, and not say evolve or repeat it. Either you're going to learn the lesson, and it's going to make you stronger, like working out, right? You work out every day, you get your muscles sore, it hurts. You can't walk up the stairs, leg day is terrible, but you don't realize how great it turns you out to be in the long run.
Oh my gosh. It's so interesting you brought that up, because you have an awakening story. But, I play a sport that I hold on to something with my hand, and it's my shake hand. And so we're not shaking a lot of hands these days. Right. But go back a couple of years, people would shake my hand and they'd say, girl, what kind of work do you do? Because the calluses across the hand, right? They're like, do you have some part-time job? What are you doing? But look, all of this is part of being awake. Tell us about what awakening means to you and how that happened.
So everybody in life has a different story. You have a different path in life. What you've been through in your life, I probably won't go through in my life. But somehow, because we've both been through things, we can relate on that aspect. But there's a point in life, and it's not going to come at the same time for everybody, but there will be a point in your life, if it hasn't happened already, it doesn't matter what age you are, where you're going to sit down and stop and say, you know what? When I look back over my life and I think things through, you've come out of all that darkness. Somebody pulled you up to greatness. You achieved what people said you were not going to be able to achieve. You did what people doubted you would be able to do. You got that promotion when you were denied the first time. You bought that car when they told you you would never have a brand new car. The people that at some point in your life, you're going to wake up and say, you know what? Oh, I really did that. And you're like, how did I do that? You won't know how. That's your favor. That's your blessing. But it comes at a different point for everybody. The timing is not going to be everybody's timing. But that awakening piece is so important when you realize it. And then you understand that every bad situation you go through is not a bad situation. Every rejection is for your protection. You might not know it or understand it at that time, but once you push forward, it's going to make you think like, you know what, that really wasn't a bad situation. So the next time you get into a dark situation, it's not going to be negative. You're still going to see the positive, the silver lining in it, because you've already been through that, So awakening is so important. It is so important in life. It's a turning point in your life. I can say that.
Yeah. And you know what I love about this here is what I love about it is that people think that I have been through the fire once. No. So look, here's the way it works. There is a pathway that has been laid out for some sort of thing you want to do great in this world, whether it's of service. I don't know what it is. It's different. And in order for you to get that, right, in order for you to catch that rainbow, in order for that to happen, the divine knows that you have no biceps, Pat. There's no way that little teeny bicep thing that you're carrying around in your spirit, like flabby biceps, spirit biceps, that is not going to get you this vision and dream you have. So let's start by building up that muscle. And then you build it up and you realize I built up the bicep, but Lord have mercy, the shoulders are like weaker than
It doesn't stop. Oh yeah.
But you didn't turn away. You didn't walk away, did you?
That was the awakening. That was my awakening. We're talking about this, but they don't understand. So once you build up that bicep, though, it doesn't stop. your bicep is strong. So now we're going to work on, like you just said, the shoulders. You're going to continuously go through not continuously, but there are going to be different points in your life that are going to be hard times. And some people, I see your face, you're like, oh yes, you're going to go through those hard times, but each step, each accomplishment, each push through that you do in your life past that trivial, that trials and tribulations is setting you up for greatness to the next part. And, earlier in past podcasts, I was talking about how, we always ask for things, right? We ask for things in life. We want to be great. We want to be remembered. We want to have a legacy, but you can't get there without going through something first. So that when you get that thing at the end, everything that you went through that was hard makes you appreciate what you get in the end. But see, we don't want to go through all the pain. We just want things to, instant gratification. We don't want to put into work, don't want to be let down, don't want our feelings hurt, because it hurts, right? It's painful. But we need that to make us stronger. We need that in order to get to our blessing and get to our favor. It's just something that we have to work through. You got to work out that bicep, girl. Work out that bicep.
I know. And, let me ask you this question, because as we take a look and we're looking ahead, because we are wrapping this year up.
Oh, yes.
And some people are saying, oh, I'm so glad we're wrapping this year up, as if we're going to wake up on January 1st and some magic pill. Shout out for the Matrix coming on the thing today. I think it's today, Benny. But we're not going to be like in the Matrix where you got the red one and the blue one. Right. January going to come.
Oh, yeah.
What do you want to say to folks before we go to break to get us ready so that we use the muscles we built and we don't atrophy?
Right.
What do you want to say before we go to break to people?
Well, that question is, what are you going to do? What are you going to change about you personally that's going to make you better come January 2022? That's the question that we need to know. What are you going to be unapologetic about? What are you not going to say, oh, I'm sorry for, and stand firm in it? Because we have to stop feeling sorry for ourselves, feeling sorry and shameful of our past and our history and who we are. We have to own that. That's what pushes us forward and makes us truly, truly successful. So what are you going to be unapologetically about walking into 2022? Yeah. That is going to be my thing.
Oh, man. Let's take a short break. When we come back, what are you ready to walk into? And let's just say this, because, we're not just talking to anybody today in the show. We're talking to someone that understands what it means to face rejection, that understands what it means to be successful, active duty United States Navy Master Chief.
Oh, yes.
Unapologetically favored, a woman, a leader, a testimony, motivational book writer. You could tell from her show that when she gets fired up, this is about the message and about helping us with the madness. So let's wake up, let's turn up, and let's bless up. When we come back, you just don't want to walk now. You want to walk with your head up high.
Yes.
You got to walk with your head up high. Not look at the past, not wish you could have done this, not thinking about what you maybe could repair. It has been a time of loss. But our theme here at the network is 2022. It's all about you, a new, renewed. We don't have this in our tagline, but I'm going to say it. Unapologetically favored you. Let's take a short break. Courtney Cottrell, we'll be right back. Everybody, we're back. We're unapologetically favored back.
Yes, welcome back.
Okay, when we were gone, did you all sit up a little straighter maybe? Did you maybe think, okay, she's telling me to stand up straight or sit up straight? I mean, did you do something where you can just put your shoulders back and just breathe that sense of favor?
Oh, yeah.
What does that feel like, Courtney? But before we do that, look, you mentioned your book.
Oh, yes.
People, you're also working with folks You're an extraordinary person to work with, but we need to tell folks how they get a hold of you and work with you.
Oh my goodness, yes. So I am on every social media account you can probably find in America right now. Facebook, you can find me under Unapologetically Favored. Twitter, you can find me on Favored ED. Instagram is Unapologetically CAK. And I also have a couple of books out that are on Amazon right now, Barnes & Nobles, Target, Walmart. You can Google that as well. And I currently will have a book coming out in January. January 11th is going to be the drop date. And it's called Never Be Afraid to Eat Alone. So I am looking forward to that, as well as a brand new updated website where you can really, really get down to the meat and potatoes of what I do and follow me. So that is going to be so exciting for me. I'm so excited to share that with everybody. So unapologeticallyfavored.net will be the website that's going to launch. Yeah. So stick around.
Yeah, I don't know why my video keeps being turned off. I think it's just like I think we all just need to focus on what you got to say, because I'm like excited for you.
Oh, I'm so looking forward to this book to drop.
I mean, don't you love that?
I do.
I mean, don't you love that?
I love the feedback I get from the strangers and my friends that tell me, oh my gosh, what you said, I can totally relate. I felt like you were speaking to me. And I'm like, I'm speaking to anybody who needs to hear this. And a lot of times we all need to hear something that we don't think we need to hear. Yeah. That is my thing. That's what I do.
Yeah. Let's talk about how important the energy of Unapologetically Favored is as we go from this year to next. My sense is, for myself, this is a time to get things done that you've been kind of sitting on, not getting done in your personal life.
Right.
And I know why people have held back at that, but it's also this incredible time for newness, new website, new book, this newness.
Yes.
So when we talked about coming up with our theme 2022, it's all about you, but it's all about the new you.
Right.
How does that energy feel to you? And, how can we help people know they are favored? Because I think that's one of the trickiest thing, Courtney, right there.
Oh, yeah. So I speak about this all the time in mentor conversations with proteges. Even my mom, I talk to her about it as well, because we overlook the small things that we accomplish in life. And you can't take the small things for granted, because those small things are what is setting you up for your destiny, your blessing, your favor. And we don't realize that what we have, a lot of people don't have. What we've accomplished, a lot of people haven't accomplished. What you do, a lot of people can't do. And we take it for granted. We really take it for granted. And knowing your favorite is just like I said earlier. First of all, when you wake up in the morning, if you are blessed enough to wake up this morning, you were favored, you were chosen to live another day, to have another chance at life, to correct any wrongs that may have happened. If you were granted something that you wished for, you hoped for, or even I could say you worked for, because, when we start talking about that, a lot of people will say, oh, it was good luck. No, it was preparation. It was hard work. It wasn't good luck. I had to put in on this, but you weren't there by my side when I was working towards this. You just see the end, and all you can say is, oh, it was just good luck. But you don't know the nights I lost sleep, the friends that stopped talking to me as I leveled up in my life, the family members I fought because I was not going to give it to them when they asked me for it, because I was trying to work on me. You have to be protective of your peace, protective of your energy, because the more you give and give and give and give, you drain yourself, and there's nothing left for you to survive on. And that's when you start having those setbacks and you sit down. But being able to get through your trials and tribulations and rise up from that darkness that you've been sitting in, you have been favored. And you should never, this is that unapologetically piece that I love. You should never have to apologize for what you've been through in your life, because that is what made you who you are at this moment. That piece is what's going to get you to your final destination, no pun intended, but that's what's going to get you to where you want to be in life, and but see, that unapologetic piece, it comes with you having to be vulnerable. And that's a scary thing, because you have to acknowledge a feeling or some feelings within yourself that connect to a dark place in your life, something that you might have been ashamed about. And you have to own that without fear. So you have to be unapologetic about all those setbacks. You have to be because that, if you didn't have those setbacks, if I was not, in a dark place in my life, I would not be right here on this podcast today.
I wouldn't either. I wouldn't either. I'm telling you, like the one thing I love is that as I get older, I'm reminded of how fear feels. I'm reminded of it. So what I love about that is people say, oh, fear. No. Feel that fear for a nanosecond. Remember when it was in your life and remember how it didn't stop you, because the energy shift now. I mean, if you talk to any astrology person, like all my astrology friends, they will spend hours telling you about the planets that are lining up and this and that, but everybody has the same message. What we've gone through for the past 2 years was a setback to set us up for an energy that is very hard to describe, but it's the energy that had you sit down and write a book, right?
Oh yeah.
Website.
Oh yes. It's funny how like all that happened, because the website that I had previously, the gentleman that was running it, he kind of fell off the earth. I couldn't find him.
I talked to somebody. I was just talking to one of our other hosts who had the same thing. It's like
crazy, right? I don't know what happened. And I started to get upset. And I said, no, Courtney, don't get upset. It's a reason why this happens, because now that you're about to go, have a new website, maybe this is what you needed to continue your progress into being successful. So you started off small. Okay, now you passed the test on that. Now we're about to set you up for something greater, but it's going to be a little pain in the middle while you're getting set up for greatness, because you're going to lose your website, everything that came with it. But I'm not mad. It's just, and that's what I'm talking about when it comes to the small things. You can't get mad, because as soon, and I had a girlfriend text me one day. She said, Courtney, is there anybody that you listen to that motivates you, that inspires you? And it was so funny. And I think kind of halfway conceited. And I said, yeah, myself.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are you going through? So I sent her this, motivational text message and everything. And I don't know what she was going through, but if somebody emails me, I'm like, you're having a rough time. We have to learn how to stop pushing against the grain and just trust the process of life. Because when you start pushing against what's supposed to naturally happen and fall into place, you disturb the energy, you disturb the peace, and you could possibly be blocking your blessings. You're possibly blocking what you need to launch you into success, because you want to do what you want to do and not let life just take its course. Yeah. Crazy, right?
It is crazy. I mean, it's so interesting, because doesn't it show up in like a lot of really unexpected ways? Let me give you a really weird thing. I shared this on a show or two, I don't know, a week or so ago, where we had somebody that, saw our media kit and said, that's not possible. You can't have that many people come to your website. Nobody has that much traffic. And it was really a bit like that's like false. And it was enough for me to call Nick, my server person, and I called Nick and I said, okay, just give me like a ton of reports. I need I don't know how he does it. He goes into Cloudflare and he just does runs this. We got 10 websites. So I said, you got to give me something. And he runs them and he sends them to me. And I looked at him and I didn't read the numbers right. I texted Nick back and I said, okay, what is that? 19.7, thousand per day, per hour. What is that? And he made like a little snarky little comment. Like, I don't know if it was you need to put your glasses on or something, like you need a vacation, or was like something like that. And he said, that's not a K by the end of that number. That's an M. And I just thought, okay, here we got somebody that needed to just rub me up the side of my head because I don't pay it. I don't do this for the numbers,
Right,
Courtney.
right.
I don't. I mean, it's important to you all to know how many come to the website, but I'm like, I need to launch 10 new channels. So I'm over there.
Right.
But that little request turned into a level of awareness that we didn't even know.
Right.
And I think that if we don't stop and do what you just said, if we get angry at every comment somebody's going to make or every rejection, I was rejected in my doctoral program. I was rejected by 23 schools and I was put on a wait list for Claremont, which was my first school. And I was like, this is not going to happen.
Right.
But that wasn't the plan. The universe knew that my first school, I should have stopped there. I didn't need to spend, what is it, $30 an application?
Right. That's a lot of money.
And it was so funny because Columbia, who I got my master's from, I had already been accepted into the program, but I sent it to the wrong department. See, what if the upset, and I want to talk to you about this when we come back from break. What if that upset was really an upsell? Upsell on your life. That's like upsell, SELL, right? Got it? What if every upset or thing that shows up to give you a frowny face, you stop for a minute and think about it and say, ooh, where am I going to be upselling in my life? When we take a break, we're going to come back. When we come back, have you ever been sick and miraculously healed? Have you ever been broke and money shows up? Have you ever wanted to throw in the towel and think I'm never going to make it? But you're 13 years old and you've just had your second child, but something saves you from that because you realize that life is so, so juicy. When we come back, Courtney's going to walk us through unapologetically amazing. Take a short break. We'll be right back. Courtney, take us on. Listen, let's talk about first of all, everybody, you're listening to Unapologetically Favored with Courtney Cottrell. I'm Dr. Pat. I get to sit in a second seat with her on this. But before we get rolling here, because what we're getting ready to talk about now is we're getting ready to talk about, what this means if you are ready to take the pledge, so to speak. Right. But before we do that, you've already taken the pledge. You got a brand new book. You got some new stuff coming out.
Oh, yes.
You're ready for 2022. Come on, tell us what that is now.
Oh, so I have expanded my brand and I'm so excited. So Unapologetically Favored has a gift shop and you can find it on shopfavored.net. And on this website, there are, apparel, sweatshirts, hoodies, t-shirts, with my motivational sayings and just uplifting, empowering quotes. There's coffee mugs, tote bags, stationery, wall art. Just check it out. Enjoy yourself. And also all the way through Christmas, you can get 15% off of everything on this site with the code HOLIDAY21. Also in January, my third book, Never Be Afraid to Eat Alone, How to Own Your Power and Level Up, will drop everywhere, Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, all the bookstores. And that is going to be I call it my motivational workbook. But if you are ready to meet yourself again for the first time, this is the book you need in your life to help you walk in your purpose for the year 2022 and just live your life unapologetically favored, which is our topic today. So I am excited for everyone to check that out. Please leave me feedback on anything that you come across with my name on it, my social media. I am here for you. I love it.
Let's take it to the next level here. Let's talk about where we are, the title of the book, and what we need to do to get ready. Because getting ready is part of it. Ready, set, go, right? I have a friend that was a sprinter, right? Back in the day, like out of the gate. And she would tell me that the most important part was the ready part. Now, I never understood that because I'm about as slow as you get running. Whenever I got on base, they'd say, get somebody else to run for her. But she would tell me about the mechanics of this. And actually, she helped me quite a bit, but she could run. And she said, you ever see people sitting down there and they getting ready to run at the Olympics? And do you ever watch them like fiddle with their fingers exactly right? You ever see what they do, that preparation with the fingers? And she would say to me, when you get ready, that's when all of the years of work that you've done don't need to be thought about. You're ready. Tell us about getting ready.
Right. Getting ready, and it could come in many shapes, forms, sizes, events, trials, and tribulations for everybody, because it's going to be different. But that getting ready piece is the hardest thing that you'll ever have to do. Getting ready for this podcast for me, getting ready for all these books that I'm launching, that my motivational apparel line, my branding, to get ready for Courtney, I had to go through some trials and tribulations. I had to go through some setbacks, some suicidal contemplations, some people telling me, no, I wasn't going to be able to get it. No, I didn't deserve it. I lost friends. I lost family members. I lost people around me that I thought were my supporters and turned out to be my haters. But that piece was me getting ready for this greatness that I'm in right now. And that is what's going to be hard. So you have to make sure your life is aligned. You have to make sure your fingers are in the right place. Your feet fit firmly, in the little device that they use to wash themselves when they get to run. But that getting ready piece that's just the hardest part of getting to your success, getting to your blessing, your destination, your favor. And once you get there and you look back again, you need to be unapologetic about everything that you went through. You need to be unapologetic about the friends that no longer suited you, that you had to put to the side because they were not leveling up when you were trying to do better for yourself. Misery loves company, right? So you will encounter the people that want to hold you down or tell you what you can't do instead of telling you what you can do. Be unapologetic about letting family members go that are sucking more out of you than that are given to you. Be unapologetic about walking off that job that's not suiting you anymore. But that is probably what you need to help you launch into the next level. And, during a break, when you and I were talking about that fear tactic, that fear is what's going to hold you back and block you from achieving your next blessing. And it's like, I get it, because fear scares me, of course. But again, trusting the process of life, trusting, just the process of life. You have to. If not, you're going to block blessings every day and not realize it.
You have a statement. I want you to comment on this. Your statement is, there is a purpose for your presence and your presence has a purpose.
Oh, yes.
Tell us about that right there, because we don't really believe that. We don't think that our presence has a purpose. We think that your presence has a purpose, that Dr. Pat's presence, maybe Benny, maybe Olivia, but like the person, tell us about how they need to really upsell themselves, right? This is where we got to upsell ourselves to ourselves if we're not believing it. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So sometimes in life, as you're walking around and you're going through the motions of the day, the motions of your life, you get complacent and you don't realize that there's a reason why you're here. We don't see it because we're just going through the motions. We're not woke yet. We don't have that third eye. Our vision isn't really, really clear, but your presence has a purpose at that point in time in your life, whether it's for you to learn a lesson that you've been, not really paying attention to and wondering why you keep repeating the same cycles in your life over and over and over again. Whether it's because you were supposed to cross paths with somebody that was to get you to where you want to go. Whether, somebody was supposed to find you and tell you what you needed to hear, not what you want to hear. Or maybe you were an inspiration or are an inspiration for somebody who needs you at that very moment. But we have to wake up with a clear vision in life, a life clear vision, to understand that, because your presence is just not to just be mundane and flatline your way through your life. Your presence is to understand why you're here. Whether it's to, start a new business, mentor somebody who needs you, start a nonprofit organization, be a motivational speaker, hold hands and tell somebody, you know what, I can't relate to what you're going through. I'm glad you told me, and I will be here whenever you want to talk. That is your purpose for your life at that moment. But we have to see that, and we don't, because we wake up and just go with the flow. We don't get into it, and we need to get into it in order to see it. So your presence has a purpose, and your purpose has a present. All that it's deep. It goes more than just that.
Sometimes we lay our situations down in front of us. I've talked to somebody the other day who heard me talk about the time when I was younger, when I was 17, I was homeless. And I shared a couple of stories about that. Homeless, jobless, penniless, whatever that word is, struggling, whatever that word is. We think that we have to become those things. But what you help us understand is we don't have to become those things because we were never meant to become them. Let's talk about when life shows up, Courtney.
It's I tell people, your past does not define your future. What you go through does not define who you are. How you handle it does define your character, though. So again, you can either allow those trials and tribulations to sit you on your butt and you wallow in self-pity, or just say, I can't get up. Or you can say, you know what? I'm stronger than this. I'm better than this. My purpose in life is for me to have more than this. And that's what you do. But see, when you were sitting down there, you were just building up the strength to get back up. And once you get back up, there's nothing else that you cannot not do, because you're built for it. You were given that opportunity. You passed that test, and now you're just going to the next level. But we have to be unapologetically favored, because I just love this. I love it. It is walking into 2022 is that piece where you have to say, you know what, I'm showing up unapologetic, because I went through hell and high water to get to where I'm at, to have what I have, to know what I know, to be in this loving a relationship, to whatever it is that you're going through. You have to be unapologetic about all the bad that came with that to get there. Because if it wasn't for that bad that you went through, you would not be where you're at today.
I want to ask you about Bless Up, and we're going to skip the break. I want to ask you about the book now, because I love the term Bless Up. I love that term. And you had to be inspired to come forward with that term. Tell us what brought those tears to your eyes to be in such deep gratitude for that.
Because it's some days where, and I know I'm not the only one, and everybody that is under the sound of my voice can probably relate to at least one experience in your life or one place in your life where you're like, I don't deserve what I have. You don't think you were good enough to get it. Or it could have been me that was 6 feet, that got put 6 feet under. But somehow, some way, I came out on top. I pulled through. And when it comes to the bless up part, give thanks. Always have gratitude. Even in your darkest times, your darkest days, always be appreciative that you're still standing, that you were able to have a dark time, because some people can't even have a dark time because they're not here. But it made me grateful for all those dark times, because I'm here, I'm doing what I love what I do. So it's definitely not working. For me, it's not work. I'm having fun with this, but pay it forward, bless it forward. I had some girlfriends before I came up here in my Christmas vacation that put out on social media how they were getting together to go to a restaurant to just put a massive amount of tip money together and bless a waiter or waitress, unbeknown to them. So they chose a restaurant, and I think they did it, what is it, the 23rd? They did it 2 days ago. They were supposed to do it 2 days ago. And to go and just bless somebody by giving them a huge tip for the holidays. When I say, I was just like, that is so amazing. That is how we bless up. Be grateful, pay it forward, bless it forward, because you have it. Share it with somebody else and be a blessing to them. Because also I'm a firm believer that whatever you give, whatever you put out into the atmosphere is what you're going to get back. Attitudes, negativity, positivity, blessings, whatever you throw out there is what's going to rain back down on you. So wake up every day, turn up, be excited about life, wake up every day to live, not living to die. And bless up, be grateful, be grateful.
There are two things that you mentioned. I would like for you to speak to them here. One of the things you say is delayed, not denied. And then the other thing you say is never let your emotions speak before your intelligence. And I think those two things are really related. And those are in your book. So tell us about those.
So delayed, not denied. I had a retired master chief that told me that one day. He used to speak about that, and it stuck with me for years, because I said, you know what, it makes sense. Because I talk about the instant gratification, and when I do this in the Navy, we have like a coaching program, and I speak about how the generations, like our younger generation now, instant gratification, right? I call it the Amazon Prime era, because everybody wants to order their stuff today and get it tomorrow. They don't want to wait for it instantly. They want to have it. But we need to realize that our life, the measuring stick of our life, is not the same as the next person. So just because you see, I don't know, person A over here getting what you wanted, doesn't mean that you're not going to get it. It just might not be your time. Because again, you might not have passed the test at that moment through your travels towards your success. And you might have to have a setback in order to have that comeback. So when I was, with my promotion in the Navy, it took me a while, about 6 tries, not even 6 tries, but 6 different kind of selection boards to actually make the rank of E9. But I was never upset about it, because I was delayed, not denied. I didn't retire as, a E8, and it was like, oh, they just never gave it to me. I was still successful, and I kept going. I didn't let my foot off the brake. And that's what we needed. Don't get discouraged. It's just not your time, but you will get it. The moment you stop working for it, that's the moment you'll never get it.
I love this other thing too. Let's wrap it up. Let's bring it home with this here, right? Because this goes back to my little bicep example, but that was really lame. That was lame compared.
I liked it.
You say this, and I don't think I could say the word, but I'm just going to say it. It's like life is like a flagpole. The higher up to go, the more your butt will show.
Yes.
And I love that, because that so explains why for some people we have our sights up here, right? Yeah. But it doesn't mean that you're not going to go through stumbling blocks. I mean, when I interviewed Jack Canfield a number of years ago, he told that story about being rejected. What is it, like 163 times?
It's crazy.
And he and Mark decided to go to this last, like something in Florida, and it was the last booth. Right. On the way out, and they kind of walked by that booth and said, oh my gosh, another day, everybody rejected us. But they went to that last booth for the chicken soup for the soul. And man, that was it, right? Because their vision was up on the flagpole. And so what was the test? The test is, are you going to give up on a dream you know is a dream? So take us home so we can hold up unapologetically favored and blessed.
Right. So the flagpole, as you start walking in your purpose in the year 2022, once you become unapologetic for all the favor, all the blessings in your life, people are going to start seeing you in a different manner. They'll make side comments, smirks, tell you what you can't do. As you are climbing this flagpole, as you are being raised to the top of your life, you're going to have people at the bottom that are going to be watching you. They can see everything that you do. They're going to talk about you. You're going to lose friends. And it's the people at the bottom that are wishing for your downfall, because misery loves company. But we all got the same 86,400 seconds in a day. Like what you do with your time is on you. It's up to you. So as you go up this flagpole, everybody's going to be watching. And that's just like when it comes to the celebrities as well, because they're so high up there, people put them on these pedestals, people watch. And the minute they say something wrong, the minute they post something crazy on social media, they want to drag them down. They want to drag them through the mud. And when you are becoming successful in your life, you will have that. You are going to have that, because everybody is watching you as you are being raised to the top of the flagpole in your life. The higher up you go, the more your behind will show. But you have to get ready, be prepared, and be unapologetic about all the favors that's going to come with that.
Look, let's talk about the new book. There's a lot of things we can say. There's a lot of things we can say about, what does it mean never to be afraid? There's a lot of things to say about what it means to be alone. But bring us home here for the rest of the show. And talk about what nerve this book hits that so many people have felt. I mean, you ever get a nerve pain? Of Courtney, right?
Yeah, sciatic nerves. Oh, yes, I know.
So that's what I'm trying to say. You're coming through with a remedy
Mm-hmm.
for a nerve
Mm-hmm.
that's been hit over and over and over and over again. Bring us home. Tell us about
So let me
what
tell
we
you.
can do 2022 to be a new you.
Oh, renewed new you. So never be afraid. I actually had that book done for like a whole year, but I could not find a title, right? And I said, this title needs to be something, needs to have like a meaning. And I was going back through almost my social media posts. I think it was on Instagram. And I saw that, never be afraid to eat alone. And I said, you know what? That's all encompassing for me, because this book is like my second book, but on steroids. In order for us to walk in our purpose as a, renewed, energized you for the year of 2022, you have to be confident in who you are. Because there are going to be times where you're going to be tested. It's going to be times you might be the only one, woman, male, Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, students, executive, whatever it is, you might just be the only one in some category. And we know when that happens, we get a little intimidated. We're scared to speak up and speak out. We're scared to kind of, just mingle. We shy away from it. Not in the year 2022. You got to have confidence. You got to be able to say, you know what, I'm the only one. But again, my presence has a purpose. That's the reason why I'm here, because it was meant for me to be here. Never Be Afraid to Eat Alone is that book that is going to have you do a little self-reflection, a little motivation, and meet yourself again for the very first time, by just answering questions like, what brings you happiness? What legacy do you want to leave on this earth when you're no longer here? You have a birth date and an end date. What is that line, that dash in between those two things going to represent about you? Just some self-reflection questions in order for you to meet yourself, be unapologetic, and be able to have that confidence to show up in 2022 unafraid. Even if I got to eat alone and it's by myself because my friends fell off when I was being raised to the top of my flagpole, I have the confidence to do so. I'm not scared. I'm showing up wholehearted and unapologetic about everything and about who I am. Either take it or leave me.
I love that. I mean, thank you, first of all, for bringing this powerful message today. Secondly, thank you for taking pen in hand, putting words on paper so that we can follow along.
Yes.
Again, I so love that you are so inspired by being inspiring. That's really the beauty of what I love. How do we find out about you? How do we get a copy of the book? And what's your personal message? What do you want to leave us with today?
So to find out about me right now, you can actually go on to my my gift shop website. It's shopfavored.net. I have my books on there as well. And that's a temporary website. It's going to be kind of like merged into my actual brand new website that's coming out in the year of 2022, unapologeticallyfavored.net. My books will be on there as well. If you want to follow me on social media, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Oh my goodness, LinkedIn. I think I'm everywhere, probably everywhere. But my number one message that I want to leave to people is your past does not define you. The moment you allow that to happen to you, that's going to be pretty much like the stopping point for any success that you want in life. What does define you is how you handle it. How do you rise up out of that and use that test that you went through as a testimony for somebody else that might be going through the same thing that you're going. And the question is, as we go into 2022, what are you going to do different to become a new you? What are you going to be unapologetic about walking into 2022? No more giving in to the people that were sucking life away from you, but actually concentrating on you as an individual. What are you going to do?
Courtney Cottrell, thank you so much for everything you're doing. I hope you enjoy the rest of your winter escape up there and enjoy this beautiful, beautiful holiday. As always, it's an honor. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I want to wish everybody out there the best, best, best. And, if you follow just a few things that Courtney just talked with you about, the one thing, please put your head up high.
Oh, yes.
Put that head up high. Unapologetically you, Happy New Year. Happy holidays. We'll see you next time.
Yes.
Thanks for tuning in to Unapologetically Favored. When you stop worrying about what others think and start walking in your purpose, you allow yourself to grow, you discover all the gifts you have to offer the world, and everything begins to shift from uncertainty to possibility. Can't get enough? Unapologetically Favored is also a book. Bring home a copy and learn more about Courtney by visiting unapologeticallyfavored.com. We will see you right here next time. And until then, keep walking in your purpose.